know that it takes time. It is very daunting for me. I was applying for about 5 jobs on a week. Welcome everybody, Nikita here, and today I have a very exciting video for you. This video is a little bit different as today we are discussing preparing for the US job market. Generally, I do videos on sustainable fashion, natural hair, and general wellness lifestyle. But today we are delving into career planning and just some tips and tricks I have learned as I have been maneuvering the US job market. So I just wanted to share some of the tips that I've picked up, some of the things that I would not have known had someone not tell me, hoping that I can save you guys some time and energy. I've been here in the US for the last couple of months, and in the last couple of weeks I've been searching for employment. Prior to coming here, I did some research as it relates to requirement for particular jobs as well as resources for immigrants. So when I did my initial research, I decided that I would be looking for positions as an administrative assistant. I previously worked in HR and accounting, and I believe that my skill set was more suited for that position. So I used my Jamaican resume that listed my experience, my top skills, my academic accolades, stuff like that. So as I said, I started with Indeed, and I got a few responses. Early on, and that was exciting because, you know, putting your resume out there, getting a few responses, that was exciting. Tips that I would give you starting out in your job search: first, identify what type of position you are best suited for. I don't think it makes sense to apply widely unless it's like retail, but I don't think you should be applying for a position as an engineer or a position as in fintech. Like, know exactly. It doesn't have to be a set sector, but at least have an idea, outline what it is that you're looking for in terms of employment, and tailor your resumes. So I was just, for the first 2 or 3 weeks, I was just sending out general resumes, like not editing it much. And there were a few jobs, I was being lazy to be honest, there are a few jobs that I honestly didn't send a cover letter. So I would encourage you, 1, send a cover letter, 2, tailor your resume. So you will have basically 2 resumes. One resume that has all your information, that can be 2 pages, whatever, but what you are sending to the particular job should be a 1-pager that is edited. So say, for example, in my previous capacity, I was the HR clerk, and I was doing everything from recruiting to payroll to general administrative functions. If I'm applying for an administrative assistant position, I wouldn't necessarily put recruiting, but I would list payroll, because in some companies, the administrative officer, the executive assistant, is the person that would collate that information. So I'd ensure that I read through the particular job descriptions, then I go back to my resume and I highlight the areas that, you know, correlate. I ensure that I put those particular things that I would have done that are similar to what I'm being asked to do in this new capacity. So definitely tailor your resume, definitely read through the job descriptions, and know, this is a note that I want to give everybody, know that it takes time. It is very daunting for me. I was applying for about the basis 5 opportunities on a weekly basis, and then Indeed would give you a synopsis, and it was very daunting when you go through, and the first like 2 days after you see employer reviewed your documents, and then in a day you see decline, and when you start to scroll from top to bottom and you're seeing decline, it definitely tugs at something inside of you. But remember that, guys, the only thing you have control over is putting your best foot forward, is applying. This is something I want to stress, because it did get to me. But speaking to other persons, other immigrants that definitely went through it, and most people say it takes about 6 to 8 months. Could be a year with the pandemic, depending on what your qualification is and what field you want to go in, but it can definitely take some time. Some persons are, I don't want to say luck, but definitely hone the things that you have control over, own the things that you have control over, which is editing your resume, going through the job descriptions, applying early. I had a Zoom conference thing with someone from LinkedIn recently, and she was saying that the importance of applying early. She's saying majority of recruiters within the first hour or 2 hours of a job posting, they definitely go on and sift the resumes. So applying early is very important. If it is that you are at home, especially, like set a time, set notifications, so definitely you will be alerted when a job that you are interested in or has similar criteria to your interest becomes available, and apply early, guys. There's also some resources that there's a lot of free online resources as it relates to editing your resume or making your resume US job market ready. For me, I am going to be sharing with you 3 of the things that I have utilized to assist me in being ready for the job market. I would encourage anyone to do research. You're moving to a new country. There are definitely some tools and resources that has assisted me in being prepared for what the US job market has to offer, and I am very thankful for these 2 programs that I am lucky enough to be a part of into the program. So prior to coming here, I did some research online, just looking for immigrant programs, New York. You can put whatever state you live in. You can definitely put whatever state you live in. There are some programs that are state, that are county, that are specific, because these programs are non-profit, and if it's a non-profit, there is a specific demographic that they must cater to. So definitely put in whatever city, whatever state. You can also, in addition to that, you can also put in your respective field. I know, for example, I see a lot of things that engineers and IT people. I see programs geared towards recertifying or reintegrating persons that are engineers or in information technology into the US job market. So definitely do some research, look into whatever field you are a part of, and see what programs are out there. If you really want to get into a good job, a solid job with a decent pay and benefits, I think it's important to become a part of a community, especially living in such a big city, like such a big state like New York. New York is huge. There is so much. You just migrate and catch up at your family house. Chances of getting integrated, especially in a pandemic, it's very hard. So joining communities, immigrant groups, that is one way to get yourself out there and build a network. So this is how I have been building my network. I'll definitely list the resources that I'm using below. I know for one New Woman New Yorker, they're currently recruiting for their next lead session that I think starts in April. This video will be going up in April, so you can definitely apply. So these are the 3 things that I've used to assist me in preparing. So for one, I was a part of the New Woman New Yorker program, and what New Woman New Yorker does is it equips immigrant women living in New York. So this is specifically for immigrant women that live in the New York area. It prepares us for the job market. So they do an 8-week workshop, and workshops are catered towards specific areas such as resume writing, planning, preparing and refining your pitch, LinkedIn. In addition to the 8-week classes, they do provide supplements, additional information for immigrants, such as I recently did a budgeting workshop. I've done a workshop with LinkedIn to assist us in just optimizing our profiles on LinkedIn. I did a mock interview with a recruiter from Google. So they definitely expose you to a wide variety of areas and professionals, and ensure that you have the tools that are required for the US job market. So I definitely am so thankful to the New Woman New Yorkers program. I'm so glad to be an alumni, and I definitely implemented a lot of the things that were taught to me. One of the tools that I really appreciated, we had a resume review session and we met with a professional. We had a discussion. I explained to her my experience, because you know, sometimes you can write down that you do a particular thing, but somebody reading may not have the full scope of what that item is. So we went through my resume with a fine-tooth comb, and she sent me a resume review, and that's the resume that I am using even currently. I didn't actually make any changes to her review. I was very thankful for that, and I felt that that was helpful, because I know that it is encouraged that you have a one-pager, but it is very hard to decipher what it is that you need to include and what you should exclude when you have that to do. So thank you to New Woman New Yorkers, and as I said, all the resources I mentioned will be listed below for you guys to make contact, apply, you know, take whatever steps necessary. In addition to New Woman New Yorker, I also found an additional program called Upwardly Global. So these programs basically are pretty similar. Upwardly Global helps immigrant professionals reintegrate into the workforce. So how they achieve this is, the first thing, you have an information session with a member of their team, just highlighting how they will assist you. After the information session, you have an orientation online course, and both of these programs are online. New Woman New Yorker normally meets in person, but because of COVID, it's an online session, and it's a 2-hour workshop 1 day a week, and that is how I did that. Upwardly Global, it's not a set session every week, but you have access to individuals that check in with you from time to time, and if you need to prepare, you can reach out to them and schedule meetings and stuff. So the first step in Upwardly Global is you have an online orientation session that covers everything from resume writing to informational interviews to what to do before and after an actual interview. All of the information given again was pretty relevant. Some of it is quite straightforward, but there are aspects of it that I appreciate and I wouldn't have been privy to prior to being exposed to the material. So for one, an informational interview, I've never heard about it prior to being a part of both New Women New Yorkers and Upwardly Global. So basically what an informational interview is, you meet with a professional that is possibly in your field and you have a discussion. You're not trying to get a job from this person, you're mainly trying to build your network. So you talk to them about what it is that they do, what steps that they would have taken educationally, just providing insight into their specific area. And I think it's important to find somebody that has a similar career trajectory to what you want or what you aspire to have. And I have been blessed to find some amazing individuals. My first informational interview was phenomenal. I am so thankful for her and she's still recommending. I did my first informational interview about a month ago and she is still reaching out to me ever so often, introducing me to additional persons. I actually have another informational interview today and that is from the first informational interview I did. She introduced me to a few of her colleagues. So you definitely can build a network that way. 2 things I would encourage you to do if you are given an informational interview, or prepare. So research the individual you are meeting with. If it's information that can be found online, don't ask them where them work. Make sure if you meet with them, you know which part of them work or you have an idea where they work. So don't ask questions that you can Google and find the information to, or you see the information on LinkedIn. Always try to connect with them prior post interview. So ask them, you know, thank you so much for meeting with me today. I really appreciate you taking the time and specific. I wouldn't have known XYZ if you haven't shared that with me and I'm grateful. would you like to connect via LinkedIn? If I have any additional questions, we can discuss. Anybody else that they know that you could benefit from the speaking. So that is important. Always try to get in touch with additional persons, because this is your avenue to network, and a one-on-one capacity is the best way to do so. I've definitely met some amazing individuals through informational interviews and just networking through these two organizations, Upwardly Global and New Woman New Yorker. Thank you so much for all that you do in assisting immigrants to enter the workforce. I'm just so thankful for being a part of these programs, and as I said, the information will be listed below. I think the top tool for Upwardly that was very instrumental in assisting me, they have a career tracker worksheet that basically you and your career coach have access to. And my career coach is amazing. Like, I am so thankful for her. She was very instrumental in helping me and just directing me or providing guidance as to what my next step, because even when I secured an offer, she was like, okay, I think you should do this. And I was like, I was thinking about it, but I wasn't sure. So she is amazing, very thankful for her. But the career tracker, what that basically does is you list all the jobs that you apply to. And again, I was doing 5 jobs a week. You list all the jobs that you apply to. You write the name of, if you have a contact person, who that contact person is, what the salary that they were offering is, when you did the initial application, and there's a note section. So if you want to follow up, that definitely helps in just having all the things that you are doing in one place, because if you're using several different job sites, it can get overwhelming to stay on track of the jobs that you apply for. And another thing I realized is that there are jobs that you will apply for in February and they will reach out to you in March, April. So definitely, guys, I said this before, but be patient and give yourself grace. Don't beat up yourself if you don't see that you're getting responses right off the bat. All right. And the last resource that I wanted to mention is LinkedIn. For many of us, well, for me, I didn't have a LinkedIn account prior to last year when I saw that things were progressing for me to come here. That's when I started my LinkedIn. It is important to have a LinkedIn account. I am going to be doing a specific video very soon, primarily on LinkedIn, but I will encourage you to have a LinkedIn account. Secondly, if it is that you are trying to network on LinkedIn, don't just send a connection, boom, no information. Say who you are, say what it is why you want to connect with the person, and thank them for their time. So that's when you're sending a connection, definitely send a follow-up message so people can see who you are and what you are about. Thirdly, your summary on LinkedIn is very important. Again, use that space to say who you are, what you are looking for, and something additional, something fun about you. So my next video in this series will be a LinkedIn video, so subscribe to this channel so you can see all the information that I have as it relates to optimizing your LinkedIn to get a job. So stick around for that video. I will definitely go in depth as it relates to your summary, what LinkedIn should be used for, and how you should navigate that space. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope that you found this information helpful, and I just want to encourage you as you go through your job search to give yourself grace. No matter what program you get into, please remember that searching for a job is your main priority. Ensure that you set aside a particular amount of time for the week, for the day. Pick a day that you will just dedicate to job search. Pick a day possibly that you will just dedicate to job search. Take the time to read the job descriptions for the positions that you are pursuing. Once you do that application, possibly follow up, whether it be email or even looking for the hiring manager on LinkedIn, sending them a little message, just letting them know you would have applied and you are excited about the possibility of joining the company. Guys, there are thousands of persons applying for jobs every day in the US. So you definitely want to stand out. You don't want to be stalkerish and messaging the person every day, but giving calling or emailing, and sometimes emailing works better because at least there is a trail. So take time, make the time, prioritize, and ensure that every communication is a positive experience so that persons definitely remember you. I wish you guys the best in your job search. The next video in this series will be optimizing your LinkedIn profile. I'm so excited to share all the information that I have learned in this process, and over the next couple of months I will be doing one video a month dedicated to this. Will be the Nikz career corner. I really hope that you guys found the information I shared with you helpful today, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.